Hello everyone. So in last lecture we have seen definition of a transducer, its classification, and after that we have seen some selection criteria of a transducer for a particular application. Let us revise some points and after that we will move to the next point. So what is basically transducer? Transducer is a device which converts physical quantity into electrical signal. So we can call physical quantity as a non-electrical quantity, and that is converted into electrical quantity by a transducer. So after that we have seen classification of a transducers. So there are different types of transducers based upon application area, based upon quantity to be measured, based upon principle converting principle used. So it may be active, passive, analog, digital, it may be primary or it may be secondary, it may be transducer or inverse transducer also, that we have discussed. So if you see these transducers, at first we have seen based on transduction principle, means converting principle that we are using for a particular transducer. Means suppose transducer is converting some physical quantity into respective capacitance or respective resistance or respective inductance, then that may be called as a capacitive, resistive or inductive transducer respectively. So active and passive transducer also we have discussed. Active transducer is nothing but a transducer which does not require an external power source for its operation. So passive is exactly opposite to that one. After that we have discussed analog and digital transducer. So analog transducer is the transducer which produces output in the continuous form, which is called as a analog transducer. Digital transducer produces output in a binary or a discrete pulses form. Okay, so that also we have discussed. Then primary and secondary transducers. Here you have to understand one important thing is that this primary and secondary transducers are a part of a single transducer. Okay, so primary transducer is a transducer which is converting one physical quantity into some mechanical movement, and that mechanical movement is again converted into electrical signal by the secondary transducers. So conductively they are called as a primary and secondary transducers. So the transducer which is exactly opposite to the normal transducer, we can say that is called as a inverse transducer. Means transducer is a device which converts physical quantity into electrical signal, and when electrical quantity is converted into again physical quantity, then that one is called as a inverse transducer. Then after that we have seen different criteria for a selection of a transducer for applications like operating principle, operating range. We have discussed operating principle, we have discussed accuracy and sensitivity. After that we have discussed stability, low noise signals. The next selection criteria is usage and ruggedness. So ruggedness means toughness or ability of a transducer to withstand in overload conditions. The ruggedness, size and weight of a transducer should be chosen depending on the application in which it is used. So ruggedness means what? Its ability to withstand in overload condition also. So its performance may not be affected by the overload conditions. It must give us proper output under such load conditions. What do you mean by linearity? The relation between output and input should be linear, or we can say proportional. जो भी इनपुट फिजिकल क्वांटिटी में चेंज हो रहा है उसके हिसाब से हमें आउटपुट मिलना चाहिए, तभी हम उसको क्या बोल सकते हैं कि ट्रांसड्यूसर का आउटपुट लीनियर है, चेंज नहीं हो रहा. Then next is repeatability. Transducer gives same output when we apply same input at some environmental conditions. Means it can produce result number of times. That is called as repeatability. कितने भी बार आप उसका आउटपुट चेक करो अंडर सर्टन कंडीशंस, वो वही दिखाना चाहिए, सेम दिखाना चाहिए, सेम आउटपुट रिपीट करना चाहिए फॉर द सेम इनपुट. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रिपीटेबिलिटी. द लास्ट इज इट्स साइज. Size must be small. That is again important parameter as far as the design of any system is concerned. Let us see classification based on quantity to be measured. So, if you see your syllabus, these transducers are added in your syllabus. So, one by one we have to see. So, the transducer that we have to see are temperature transducer, pressure transducer, displacement transducer is also called as a motion transducer, then flow transducer, speed, force and torque, the last is sound transducer. So, let us see one by one. The first transducer that we have to see, that is temperature transducer. So, we have seen the definition of a transducer. So, what is the definition of a transducer? Transducer is a device which converts physical quantity into electrical signal. So, what will be the definition of a temperature transducer? Temperature transducer is a device which convert temperature into electrical signal. Okay. So, how this temperature is converted into electrical signal, that we have to see. So, the most important temperature transducer which is available in the market now, it is resistance type temperature detector, or it is also called as resistance temperature detector, that is RTD. So, if you see this RTD, which mechanism is used here, which property is used here, that we have to see, that is very interesting. So, it has been observed that the resistance of a metal increases with increase in a temperature. I think you may have studied the properties of a metals. Its resistance, what happens here? Its resistance increases with increase in a temperature. So, such a property is called as a positive temperature coefficient of a resistivity. So, if you say the metals are said to be have a positive temperature coefficient of a resistivity. However, if you see semiconductor materials, its resistance decreases with increase in temperature, means its conductivity increases. So, that is why its resistance is decreased if the temperature is increased. So, therefore, we can say that semiconductor materials are having negative temperature coefficient of a resistivity, means what? Their resistance decreases with increase in a temperature, or its resistance increases with a decrease in a temperature, we can say. So, this property can be used to sense the temperature and to convert that temperature into respective resistance. So, what is the work of RTD here? This RTD is converting change in temperature into changing resistance. That is a simple working of this RTD. But there are two types based upon the material of a sensing that we are using in RTD. If we are using a conducting material like metal, then it will be having positive temperature coefficient of a resistivity, means in this case its resistance will increase if the temperature is increased. And in second case, if we are using some semiconductor materials, they may possess negative temperature coefficient of resistivity property, means what? In this case, resistance of that semiconductor material will decrease if we increase the temperature of that semiconductor material. So, there are number of RTDs are available in the market. For understanding purpose, we are considering only two examples. The first we have to see, that is PRT, that is platinum resistance thermometer, we can say, and the second one is thermistor that we have to see. So, let us see the first temperature transducer or RTD, that is PRT. Okay. So, if you see RTD types are broadly classified according to the different sensing elements used. Okay. So, earlier we have seen that we have to see this PRT, platinum resistance thermometer. In this PRT we are using platinum wire, that is why it is called as platinum resistance thermometer. But in this case we can also use nickel or a copper wire, but platinum is offering best characteristics. So that's why we are using platinum resistance thermometer or platinum element as a RTD's element. So this is simple open wire connection or construction of a platinum resistance thermometer. Here the platinum wire is wound in the form of a spiral on an insulating material such as mica or a ceramic. Okay, so if you see, this is the mica material, this is generally insulating material, and this platinum wire is wound in the form of a spiral. Okay, and here two end connections are taken out to connect in the circuitry. So this this arrangement requires some external circuitry to sense the resistance or change in resistance that we have to see. Okay, but keep in mind that in this place we can use nickel or copper wire, but platinum is very famous. If you see most of the industrial RTDs, they are made up of platinum wire. So that's why platinum resistance thermometer is very famous. So this is construction of an industrial platinum resistance thermometer. The sensing element that we have seen earlier, that is placed here. This is lead support. Okay, these are the mounting threads to the both sides, and from this tube these connecting leads are taken out. So this is also called as a PT100 RTD. Why it is called as PT100? The PT stands for platinum, and the 100 means what? It is offering 100 ohm resistance at a 0 degree Celsius. If you go on increasing the temperature of this PRT, what will happen? Its resistance will increase. But normally at 0 degree Celsius, it is offering us 100 ohm resistance. So that's why it is called as a PT100 PRT or a RTD. So this is the electrical connection that we have to do for measurement of a resistance. Carefully see this circuit. If you see this resistor R1, R2, R3, and in place of R4 we can say we have connected RRTD. So we can write here PRT also, no problem, or resistance of a PRT. This is the RTD material that we have used. This is generally called as a bridge circuit. The name of this circuit is Wheaton's bridge. I think you may have studied or you may study in future what is the Wheaton bridge. So if you see these 2 points, to these 2 points power supply is given, that is Vs. So DC power supply is applied here, the positive is connected here and negative is connected here. If you see these 2 points, across these 2 points the output of this bridge is measured, and this is generally called as a VBA. The voltage across this 2 point is called as a VBA, and that is applied to one amplifier, and this amplifier is amplifying the difference between these two voltages VB and VA. Generally we know that the voltage is nothing but a potential difference between 2 points. Okay, I think you have studied this in first year. What is the meaning of voltage, what is meaning of a current? If this is the voltage at point B and if this is a voltage at point A, the voltage which is calculated across this point A and B is nothing but the difference between the voltage at point B and voltage at point A. So this can be generally called as a voltage AB, or we can call it as a voltage BA. So this VBA is applied to differential amplifier. So differential amplifier is amplifying this VBA, because this is generally difference between voltage at point B and voltage at point A, and that difference is amplified by this differential amplifier and the output is produced. So this V out is, we can say, directly proportional to the VBA, because this is just nothing but your amplifying element which is increasing the amplitude or the strength of this VBA. Okay, but we have to see how this bridge works. That is very important. Okay, so let us see how this bridge works. Before that, I want to explain some basic points that you know already. Okay, now suppose this is simple circuit, this is DC voltage, let's call this voltage as V in. This is your R1 and this is your R2. Okay. So what will happen when we apply the voltage? When we apply the voltage, current I will flow. Without applying any voltage, current will not flow. So to flow this current, we require to apply V in or DC voltage here. So this DC voltage is nothing but V in that we have to apply here, and the current will flow through this resistor R1 and through the resistor R2 and back to point negative. So current will flow from positive to negative, that we know. And this current will pass through this resistor R1 and this resistor R2, and it will create some drop across it. So the drop, what do you mean by drop across any resistor? The drop across any resistor is nothing but the voltage measured at this point and this point of that particular resistor. So what will be that drop? That drop is nothing but, or that voltage is nothing but multiplication of the current flowing through that resistor and the value of this resistance. That means what? The voltage measured across this resistor or the voltage drop across this resistor is nothing but I into R1. Okay. Similarly, the voltage measured across R2 can be the I into resistance value of this resistor, that is R2. So it can be I into R2, we can say V out will be I into R2. Okay. This is the one method by which we can measure the voltage across this. So for that purpose, we have to consider the value of current here also. Okay. But there is one another way to measure the voltage across this R2, and that is given in this formula. So if you see the voltage across this resistor R2, that is given by R2 divided by R1 plus R2, and whole bracket is multiplied with input voltage, DC voltage, that is V in, that you have to consider, because these resistances are in series. So this particular formula can be used to calculate the voltage across this resistor R2. So this is very basic, you may have studied this, no problem. So this formula we have to use to calculate the resistance, and in turns we can calculate the value of a VBA. So for that, see these equations. So now please tell me what will be the voltage across this point A. Can you please tell me what will be the voltage across this point A? So this voltage across this point A is nothing but the voltage measured at this point and with respect to this negative. Okay. So voltage is always measured with 2 points we know. One is the actual point and another is reference point. It can be negative of a power supply or it can be ground of a power supply. So when we measure the voltage at this point, only one wire cannot be used. Second wire should be connected. Second wire of voltmeter should be connected here. And if you trace this, it will trace up to here, and we can say the voltage at point A is nothing but voltage measured across R3, because if you take a multimeter and if you want to measure the voltage at point A, the first multimeter wire you will connect here and the second wire you will connect to the negative of or a ground of a power supply, and this wire will be traced up to here. It is shorted. So that's why in short I can say that voltage across R3 is nothing but a voltage at point A. Okay. But what will be the voltage across this point A? If you see this resistor is in series, so that's why I can say that the voltage at this across this resistor R3 is nothing but R3 divided by R1 plus R3 into Vs. So let us see the equation. Voltage at point A is given by VA. VA is equal to R3 divided by R1 plus R3 into Vs, that is the supply voltage. Similarly, if you want to measure the voltage across point B, it will be nothing but a voltage across this RTD, because if you connect one wire of a voltmeter here and another wire should be connected to negative of a power supply or a ground. So it will trace up to here, and the voltmeter will look like that it is applied across this RTD. So this the voltage across this RTD is nothing but voltage at point B. So what will be the voltage across this RTD? So let us consider the resistance of RTD is nothing but RRTD. Okay. So let us consider this as a RRTD. So what will be the voltage at point B? It will be RRTD divided by R2 plus RRTD into input supply. Let us see. the voltage at point B is RRTD divided by R2 plus RRTD into Vs. So, what do we mean by VBA? VBA is nothing but voltage across these 2 points, means what? The voltage difference at this point. So, it will be VBA minus VB minus VA. So, VBA will be equal to VB minus VA. Okay. So, this is VB minus VA. So, finally, VBA becomes RRTD divided by R2 plus RRTD minus R3 divided by R1 plus R3 into what? Vs. So, if you see this equation, we can say this say that this VBA is dependent upon what? RRTD. Why? Because if you see the value of this R3, R1, R2, it will not change, because these are the fixed resistance value. Only the value that are going to be changed here with respect to temperature is what? RRTD. Okay. So, that we have to consider. This is very important point, because the resistance of R1 and R2 and R3 will not change. It will be constant even if the temperature will change, but this element is sensing element and its resistance will change as the surrounding temperature changes. So, that is why in this formula only the value of RRTD will change, and as RRTD will change, this VBA will change, because this R3, R2 and R1 will constant. Okay. So, that we have to consider. So, it will change with respect to this change in RRTD. Okay. So, this is simple working principle of RRTD. You can make different arrangement here, no problem. You can use 2 RTDs here, no problem. You can use 3 RTDs, no problem. You can use here in place of R1 you can use RTD here, you can use R1 here, no problem. But you have to derive the equation, and as per that you have to do the calibration, and then you have to make the relation in between that change in resistance and this change in voltage. Okay. And as we sense the change in voltage, we can say that the temperature is changed. Okay. And after that we have to do the calibration, and we can display that to the display devices. What do we mean by calibration? That we will see when we study CRO or different measurement instruments. Okay. The next is a thermistor. Okay. So, what is the difference between that PRT and this thermistor? If you see this thermistor, the most of the thermistor material is nothing but what? Your semiconductor material. Okay. So, in case of a PRT, in PRT platinum is metal. So, that is why in that case the resistance of that PRT or that RTD will increase with respect to with change in the temperature. So, that is having positive temperature coefficient of resistance. But if you take a thermistor, here we are using semiconductor material, and you know the basic property of a semiconductor material. If the temperature is increased, its conductivity will increase. Why its conductivity is increasing? That you know, because you may have studied physics. So, in semiconductor material, if the temperature is increased, what will happen? Its conductivity will increase, and as conductivity is increased, the resistance will decrease, because conductivity and resistivity are the exactly opposite terms. So, in this thermistor we are using semiconductor material. So, that is why thermistor's resistance will decrease as the temperature of the thermistor around thermistor will increase. So, that is why this is having negative temperature coefficient of a resistivity property. Okay. So, if you see the material that we are using, that is semiconductor material, but metal oxide powder is used in most of the thermistor. Okay. So, this semiconductor material is used in powder form, and that is placed inside the structures. So, which types of structures are available here? It can be bead type, it can be probe type, it can be disc type, or it can be rod type. The shape can be anything like this, but just check that it is having end connection, so that we can directly connect to the bridge that we have already seen. So, whatever the bridge that we have seen, that is a Weston's bridge. In that bridge, simply if you replace that RTD or that PRT with a thermistor, the whole circuit will work again like this, the same. Equation will change as you change the position of this thermistor, but you can see the arrangement like this, you can see the arrangement like this, and as per that arrangement only equation will change, but as per that equation the voltage will change. Okay, so I think you got the basic idea of this one. Okay, simply you can remove this RRTD here and you can place or PRT here and you can place thermistor here, no problem. Okay, so here RTD is mentioned, means you can place here PRT or you can place here thermistor, no problem. Okay, so the formula, mathematical formula for these two bridge circuits you have to derive, and this is the homework for you. In next lecture I will ask what is V out. Okay, or simply you have to calculate VBA here also, and here also you have to calculate VBA. You have to tell me the equations that you have derived, so that you have to keep in mind. This is very simple, already we have discussed. So let us see advantages and disadvantages of RTDs. So which are the advantages? So it is stable over time, or we can say more stable over a period of a time. Its accuracy is also high. Most repeatable temperature measurement. So repeatability is again we have considered already, we have discussed already. So repeatability is very good. Reproducibility is also very good. Actually these two terms are similar, reproducibility and repeatability. Then wide temperature range. It can be used from -200 to +650 degrees Celsius, and its stability is also very good. What is the disadvantage? Okay, now please tell me, we have seen one classification of a transducer, that is active transducer and passive transducer. Okay, so now while studying each and every transducer you will get the actual meaning of a classification. Okay, in that classification we have seen one important classification like active transducer and passive transducer. Okay, so what is an active transducer? The active transducer will not require any external power supply for its operation. Okay, but passive transducer requires external AC or DC supply for its operation. So if you see this thermistor or if you see this PRT, we can say here external DC supply is used, external resistance are used, one amplifier is used, then only that is giving you the output. Means what? This RTD comes under passive category because it will require this external DC supply, external connections, external resistors, such a circuitry is required. So in short we can say it is requiring some external power. So that's why it is called as a passive transducer. Okay, so that is the biggest disadvantage I can say, even if it is added at last, but I think it is biggest disadvantage of this RTD, that is external DC power supply is required for its operation. Then cost is high, its response time is slow, its sensitivity is also slow. Okay, and if there is a vibration, again there is problem in sensitivity. Recalibration is required because if over period of a time it is giving you some different output for the same input, so that's why recalibration or readjustment we can say is required. Larger size. Okay, now see if you see the thermistors or PRT, the size is large because size must be small. Okay, that is again important criteria for selection. But if you see generally the size of the thermistor or PRT is larger than any other temperature transducers. Okay, so this is all about the temperature transducer. Okay, so for the sake of time only we have considered two examples. There are number of types of PRTs or thermistors are there or RTDs are there, but one simple examples for understanding purpose we have considered. Okay, so I think you got the basic idea about this temperature transducer. So in next lecture we will start displacement transducer. Okay, so just complete this homework that I have given you. The answers of this one, or the voltage VBA at this first diagram and the voltage VBA at the second diagram, that we will discuss in next lecture. So this is homework for you. Please complete this, we will discuss, and if there are any doubts that also we will discuss. Okay, thank you. Take care of yourself and your family members. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.